What's going on, guys? Jurassic here. Today we're back with Elite Dangerous Tutorials. Today we're going to be going over how to get to the Guardian vessels. So we are going to be in Sector NGC-2451A, Sector LX-UD2-25, and we're looking for a location called a Guardian Beacon. Once you get over to the beacon, you are going to want to have a cargo scoop that can hold at least 3 slots. That way you're able to grab 3 different relic keys if you want all 3 of the fighters. You're also going to want some collector limpets. But basically there's going to be 3 separate pylons here. You just come over, shoot them. You got to be fairly close to power them up. You'll notice that the arms extend upwards once it's fully powered. Gives you 3 whole minutes to do this, so you can actually do this in a group or solo. It is only going to drop 1 ancient relic key at a time. However, the cool thing about this method is if we have a Scorpion, which is going to be a different kind of SRV than the Scarab, you are going to be able to scan it once, and it's going to count for both players as long as you're inside of the Scorpion. Now, one slight caveat to that is if your friend does not have their Scorpion, it's not going to count if you try to do it 2 times in the same instance. If not, then you're just going to want to server hop after you guys get the first scan in your SRV. That way you guys can continue getting the progress together. Once you get all 3, it's going to do this really cool animation where the beacon opens up. We're going to be looking for a sphere that's going to be found on the inside. Try to get a good angle of everything that's popping in for you guys. Now, once the sphere pops up, you have an infinite amount of time to get to it, but you're going to want to get fairly close, and you're going to use your data link scanner to scan this bad boy right here. Depending on your ship's scanner, it's going to be a different range, so you might have to be fairly close to it depending on which one you have set up. So once you scan that, you're going to need to go to the exact opposite side of the structure, and this is where your collector limpets and your cargo bay comes into play. Technically, you can pick the objects up without a collector limpet. It just makes it much easier to use that. It does take a minute for the pylons to actually open up over here, just so you guys are aware. As you guys can see, there's going to be 3 lights that pop out. And our little collector limpet's going to be heading for the ancient relic key. You are going to need 1 key per guardian vessel. So if you want all 3, once again, you're going to have to do this 3 separate times. You don't have to leave the instance to grab the ancient relic keys. However, you are going to have to leave the instance once you have scanned the main guardian vessel blueprint dropper.
Jumping to NGC 24.
Alright, so now that we have all that, we're heading to NGC-2451A, Sector VJ-RC4-22. I'll have this all in the description down below, that way you guys can find it a little bit easier, because I know it's a little bit of a long name. And once again, we are kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so it might take a few jumps to get over to these zones.
Commander.
But we're looking for a place called the Guardian Structure.
NGC 2451A sector, VJRC Forge 22A5 in this system has remaining biological scans.
So whenever we come over to the planet, I'm going to show you exactly where to park. I tried to park over here in between these data obelisk over here. That way we're able to scan both of them. So I do have a run that we're basically able to grab 2 obelisk data sites as well as a Guardian technology component parking on this side of the zone. Basically, you're able to grab all 3 super easy. One's going to be found on the right, one's going to be found on the left, and the technology component's going to be found a little bit further down. Now, once you exit on your SRV, you are going to want to leave your vehicle. That way it doesn't have any issues. Come back underneath it. And you can normally say it says board. You want to click your 4 panel, go over inside of your inventory, scroll up to the very top of the ship cargo, and transfer your ancient relic key over to your SRV. Alright, so now that we have all that, we are going to start heading for the main powers. So you're going to have to go to the one closest to the entrance to start this off. So that's going to be found all the way at the very top here. There's going to be 5 separate ones to power up. You can do this on foot, or you can do it inside your SRV. It doesn't really matter which one. Your SRV is going to be a little bit faster. If you're doing it on foot, though, you are going to need an energy-powered weapon. Either a secondary or primary will work out, however. So once it says energy pylon is charged, you're going to notice a beam going up at the top. And you're also going to see on the right side of your screen here, it'll say pylon charge 1 out of 6. And that's how you know you've started it. So we do have one right next to the ship as well. There's going to be 2 found in the middle.
Under attack.
So hold on, so let's clear out the Guardian Sentinels real quick. This is why I like the Scorpion too, because it's a little bit stronger. You are going to have to farm some of these guys for a lot of their different components here. Basically, you're going to kill them, drop your cargo scoop inside of your SRV, and pick up all their different components here. The main thing is going to be the wreckage components. There's not really anything too crazy when it comes to the Sentinels that you have to grab for this one. It's basically the Epsilon data that's going to slow you down, or at least that's what I found in my case. So that's the one that's sort of out in the middle of nowhere. We're going to have a picture that way you guys can figure out where all these sites are a little bit easier, because I know it's kind of hard to figure out based on the video where all the different sites are. So we got another one right next to the 2 fingers, and if you look directly to the right, we're going to have another one. Basically, there's going to be 2 found in the middle right next to each other. 2 in the very back end, one's across from the ship and one's closest to the ship. As you guys can see, you can fully power it on with a personal weapon. It just takes a little bit more shots. Now, depending on which site you're at, some have 5, some have 6. This one in particular has 6 to power up, so one's going to be close to our vehicle, the other one's going to be found directly across from it. Basically, it's just going to be making a symmetrical site around here. Now, if you don't have your weapons fully engineered, it does take a little bit extra shots to fully power it up. And just keep on shooting until it eventually has little lights going up at the top there. And once it does, you're good to go on to the next area. Now, to find all the different sites, here's a picture of where you're going to be going. This is from a different site, but this is the best one that I found to sort of showcase where we're actually at. So the 2 that he has at the very top there, one of them is going to be where we're going to be dropping our relic site at. 2 is on the sides like we already have. 2 is in the back end. So it's kind of close to what we have currently. Before we go too far, I am going to show you one of the places that we scan our obelisk data from. There's guaranteed to have 2 separate spots here. However, it's not guaranteed to have which item is going to be, since this is the only RNG part of the tutorial here. So all you gotta do is swap over to your scanner and target it. This is going to be where your data link scanner is, so if you don't have that mapped, you are going to need to go into your 4 panel and select the firing order and fully map that out. What you're really looking for is epsilon data and beta data, since those are going to be the 2 used for all of the guardians, except for the beta. Beta is only used for one of the guardians. Alright, so once you get all that, you're going to be heading over to this X, which is going to be right next to the main one. You're going to park your back tires basically on the tip of the X. Once you get rid of all the guardians, you're good to go. Go inside your inventory and click jettison. That's going to open up the main sphere here to actually scan. Once again, at this point, you want to make sure that your friend is inside of your Scorpion. That way one person can scan it and it counts for both of you. It only counts for the owner though. So for example, Mustang is with us currently. If we try to do this again and we let Mustang use my vehicle to scan it, it's not actually going to let it work. So you're going to need 2 different Scorpions if we want to do this twice without leaving the instance. However, since he's in my SRV, I'm going to scan it and it's going to count for both of us. As you guys can see, we get the Guardian Vessel Blueprint Fragment. If this guide helped you guys out, make sure you guys leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.